Hello, everybody, and welcome to a chat with Castlescapes and Clones, where we are going to be talking about all things Eternals. Today, we're going to actually be going into some spoiler territory, but we'll spend some time before we do not talking about spoilers, just our general thoughts, and then we'll get deeper into it. So, if you are here and you haven't seen the film yet, you can hang out with us for a little bit at the beginning and then later, and we'll let you know when we're going to get more into the spoilers. We'll do that. But Eternals, number one in the world. Now it's gotten mixed box office reviews, but it's still showing that Marvel can still hold its own. And I'm very excited to talk about this film with my cousin and co-pilot, Rich.
Hello.
How's it going?
It's going okay. You know,
Yeah,
it's there's actually been a lot of announcements and stuff lately.
yeah,
With the parks, with Star Wars, with Disney Plus Day coming. There's a whole slew of news things. So,
yeah.
there's a lot going on. And plus, I'm going to the holiday party on Thursday.
Lucky.
Yeah, and also I'll be there on the 12th, which is also the first day of the holidays at the parks, and also there's going to be a Disney Plus thing going on at the parks also. So
I know. I'm really dying to know what they're going to be doing
yeah,
um, on the park that day as well. Just I'm like, if only I could go down more often than I can, I would definitely have gone for Disney Plus Day.
yeah. I didn't even realize when I booked it because I booked the 12th the same, like even before I booked the Merriest Nights thing, because I knew as soon as they said that the 12th was the first day of the holidays, I
Hmm.
booked it right away. So whenever that was announced, it was probably back in September or maybe August or something. Probably September, yeah.
Yeah.
And then this happens to be also Disney Plus Day, so I'm gonna miss all the online stuff. Which there's a whole bunch of things rumored to happen, like an Obi-Wan trailer,
Hmm.
a bunch of Marvel stuff. You know,
Yeah. There's a lot of stuff that's going to happen. So I guess no matter where you are, you'll get a little bit of something depending on what you can access during that day.
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I'm sure you're going to be able to replay it.
Oh yeah, yeah. I just
You
won't be.
know,
I won't be able to see it until probably later that night when
yeah.
I get home. But yeah,
I can't believe that it's been 2 years.
for Disney, yeah,
Yeah, it's been on some levels I can believe it because I feel like it's been around forever.
yeah,
But at the same time, I'm still can't believe, and I still have both of us still have 2 more years on our
yeah. I know.
contract.
I
You
haven't.
know,
No, it's
yeah,
not true. I would say well, we haven't paid, but we did pay like
yes.
3 years ago or whenever the last D23 was or whatever.
Hmm. It's Allie and Pete from Two Tiny Wings and Susan from Wish Upon Disney.
Hello.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for coming. Oh, and William. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to miss you as well. Thank you for coming. Yeah, we're just gonna talk a little bit about our general impressions, and not get so much into the spoilers, but we will get into the spoilers a little bit later, talking about those mid to end credit scenes, talking a little bit about a fight sequence that is in my head that I want to talk about with Rich and see if he had the same kind of reaction that I did. And So anyway, with that, let's just go. What's your general impression? Just like what did you think of the film?
I think there was a lot that they crammed into a 2 whatever hour movie that I think should have well, not been a longer movie, but I think the story needed to be played out longer. I think there was just a lot to unpack with a lot of new characters and a lot of new concepts.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Besides, I mean, like, cause like I loved every single character, and I wish we got more time with them.
Yeah.
Especially like kind of their like I don't know if I want to get like basically just what they were like as when they first got here on Earth, and that whole sequence of events leading up to the present day.
Right.
I mean, that said, like I loved the look of it. I like the direction of it. And I just think it suffered from what other characters got from the Marvel method of being introduced slowly
Mm-hmm.
into everything. But it's not. But with these characters, there's almost no way they could have done it in the old way. There's no way to introduce a whole team of these people with what they do and their purpose that would have blended into any other movie until now. So
Yeah.
it
I mean, they're talking about a people who have existed for millennia,
right,
and it was to tell that whole story, and for us to get to know the characters at the same time. And there were 10 new superheroes that they introduced.
yeah,
So it was a lot. It says that was Allie's take. It was too big of an ensemble to get to know all the characters. I agree. I mean, I think Rich also, that's what Rich was saying as well,
yeah,
that it was a lot of characters for sure, for us to all get to know, and a whole group of people that we had never seen before, that we were wondering where were they before. And I think they did a good job in explaining to us why we haven't seen them before.
yeah,
But at the same time, I feel like, I mean, I do agree. I really like the film. Like, I want to watch it again,
yeah.
because it's been ruminating in my head, like just little things that I'm trying to remember here and there. I just read the Neil Gaiman reimagining of the Eternals,
Mm,
which it kind of pulls from. It doesn't. It's not like a. It's not an adaptation of that story at all.
right.
Some people were saying that it was, but I'm like, no. It took some things out of there, but not everything out of there. It's just a very Jack Kirby, who was the person who basically created the Eternals. Jack Kirby is known for, I mean, he's a legend at Marvel. He's pretty much should be as big as Stan Lee was.
Yeah,
And he, did all of the his art was basically the template for all things Marvel. So that's what they had artists come in saying, "We want your art to look like Jack Kirby's," and that's the way that it was for a long time at Marvel, was to emulate what Jack Kirby did. And he liked to do these, kind of big concept things, and created the Eternals. And it was a very, a very interesting concept. But like, even me, who has known the Eternals since I was a kid, I've known who they are. I've read the books, but I could not tell you exactly what it was all about. Like, when people were asking me, what is the Eternals about? I'm like trying to struggle because it's so high concept.
yeah,
And I think that was a big thing for a lot of people. Because I talked to a little bit with Allie after they saw the movie. And I don't know if it was Allie or Pete that I was talking to, but I was talking to one of them. And it was, I I could understand where they were coming from with, even though I think I enjoyed the movie more. Um, and I think just because I thought some really kind of cool action sequences, and I liked how it was more cerebral than most. It was Allie. I was talking to Allie. Uh, I like how it was more cerebral, like that there was uh, you know, what makes a human, what makes a god kind of thing. I like that those kinds of themes as well. So yeah, I enjoyed it overall. She gets generally more fired up about movies than me. That's funny. I know. It was one of those movies that I was when they asked me about the movie, I was like, I was kind of hemming and hawing because I wanted to say that I liked the film, which I did like the film, but I also want to prepare people that it is something that is different. It is not something that, it's not your normal Marvel fare.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
I
I mean, I'm very excited to see where they're going to be going with these characters. And we'll talk a little bit about the mid-credit scenes and the post-credit scenes and where those are going as well. But yeah, I just thought that it was a very interesting film.
Yeah, as like when people ask me if I liked it, um, I did, but
Hmm.
but almost the same way. I'm like, but just realize if you're gonna see it, it's not a normal Marvel movie,
Yeah.
right? And I kind of knew. I mean, just by the early reactions and like all the headlines are like, this is the most, divisive Marvel movie. In my head, it just harkens back to The Last Jedi and how that was so split. Then I'm like,
Hmm.
I'm probably gonna like it, but I'm probably gonna like it for the reasons why people hate it.
Right.
Right? I liked it because it's not a typical Marvel movie. I mean, obviously there's still elements of the Marvel stuff, but like, it's telling a story that's way different than we've kind of heard or seen
Yep.
in the other movies. It wasn't as straightforward. Like the whole time, I'm like, I predicted some parts of it, but then at the same time, the overall story, I'm just like, I don't know where this is gonna
Hmm.
go. Like, it's
Yeah.
like, and because like for me, one, and I've said this a lot. I didn't grow up as a Marvel fan of the comic books. I grew up
Hmm.
more as a DC fan. My Marvel was mostly just the X-Men and Spider-Man, right?
Right.
So anything outside of that, I really didn't touch. So I didn't know anything about the Eternals. I knew nothing about what was going on. Like even like the post and mid credits scene, I'm just like, I don't know where anything's going. Like I feel like I went to go see it with Thom, and I told him outside, I'm like, I feel like a normie. Like everyone who usually asks me about all the Star Wars stuff, and like I'm the
Hmm.
person who knows. I'm that person because I have no clue what's going on. I have no clue what's happening but like in a good way. It's like the movie opens up so many possibilities that I have no idea where it's going.
Hmm.
Like I have very broad idea of where it might be going, but like
Yeah.
both credit scenes, like I know characters, but I don't know some of the characters. So I'm like I don't know what this means. Like I don't know who these people are. So it got me excited. This movie got me more excited about the possibilities.
Hmm.
Even though it's like if I had to rank this film right now, it's like in the middle somewhere. I don't think it would rank in my top five.
Yeah.
That's a very hard nut to crack, but it's not. I won't sit there and go, it's one of the worst ones, which some people have said. It's probably the upper mid section.
Yeah, I think that's where I would put it as well. Like it's definitely not at the bottom.
Yeah,
It's just I think that it had its problems for sure,
yeah,
but I think it also had a lot of really good things going for it. Pizza said, I thought I did a good job in answering the question, how can anything be more villainous than Thanos? Yep. And Susan says, I have not seen it. So it is good going in with a different set of expectations. Yeah. I mean, if there's
Definitely.
anything that I can leave you with, Susan, is don't expect it to be like a Marvel movie we've seen before.
Yeah.
It's got its classic action and humor.
Yeah,
So it's
and
got that.
powers and stuff, but like it's definitely a different feeling story, which is what Marvel does a lot. Like Civil War is not the same as Ant-Man, even though there's
Mhm.
very similar aspects to everything. Like, this I don't even know what genre this would be in. Fantasy?
Right. I know.
Like but like more like Thor is fantasy,
Hmm.
right? This is kind of fantasy, but like I don't know. Yeah, I don't know how to really explain or if I had to categorize it, what kind of movie this is
Yeah,
as a genre film.
I think
Hmm?
I think it probably. I mean,
It's a little sci-fi,
I don't. Yeah, I mean, I guess it would be straight on sci-fi. I think. Um,
right? Like the difference between Star Wars and Star Trek.
right.
Like one's more fantasy, one's more kind of sci-fi. This is kind of
Sci-fi.
sci-fi-ish with like fantasy elements, whereas
Yeah,
Star Wars is very much a fantasy with sci-fi. You know, you know what I mean? It's
I
hard.
like. I liked how they, which is what they do in the comics, is that these characters were all templates of gods.
Yeah,
So, like, when Sprite is talking to Athena, he said, "You are Athena, the goddess of war." Or Sprite was telling a story about Gilgamesh and Enkidu, which is, a Babylonian mythology and things like that. Allie is yelling across the room while pouring candles, saying, "It's a prequel." It is a
it is
prequel.
a prequel.
Huh?
It is a prequel. It does.
Yeah.
She's right. I think if there's anything close, it feels like a prequel
Hmm.
in the middle of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. But I mean, like, I feel like we're just tapping into what this phase is, like with Loki and WandaVision, um, and with the upcoming Spider-Man film. Like this definitely kind of solidifies that there's like we are now past Earth at this point, right?
Yeah.
We're going cosmic, we're going mystic, and yeah, like everything that was kind of explained in this movie kind of changes a lot of things. And I think that's part of it too. Is like one, like 10 new characters. Two, it
Hmm.
kind of rewrites how we think of the Marvel Cinematic Universe and how it's created and all those kind of things. And then you have to deal with that. And then you have to deal with some of the revelations of especially the mid-credit scene. And then, was it the mid-credit scene? I can't remember. One of the post or mid-credit scenes.
Hmm.
And so just like I said, like in the beginning, it's a lot to unpack.
A lot to unpack for sure.
And so I can imagine for anyone who's not familiar with comics how crazy it might feel. When I go see these movies, I'm a comic fan, so I know how comics work and the kind
Hmm.
of storytelling that comics do, which is not like it's a weird way of looking at things because I don't look at them as individual movies. I'm like, okay, this is comic issue number whatever, right? And
Hmm.
there's crossover events and there's things. And like, for me, it's about the overall story and not necessarily the movie itself. It's kind of like Age of Ultron is not one of my favorite movies, but I understood its place in the grand scheme of the story, and it
Yeah.
was a necessary thing. But it's like, it's a, it's this issue. It's almost like we're starting a new kind of arc, and this is the first issue explaining kind of everything and setting things up.
Yeah.
right? So there's more to come, and I think that's why my mind is wired that way. That okay, this is part of something bigger.
Right. Yeah, my mind is swimming with that. It's why I need to see it again because it's I tend to um like pick up different things at different viewings.
Mhm.
And so I definitely need to see it again. Pete says that it checks off a bunch of the Marvel boxes, but not at the level that we're used to. Example, Kingo should have been Peter Quill, Thor level funny, but no one in our theater was laughing. Our theater people were laughing at
Yeah, same
Kingo.
with mine.
Yeah,
I think the humor hit definitely.
I uh, I just love Kamal. I can't even
Kumail Nanjiani.
Kamal Nanjiani. I can never pronounce his name correctly, but I think that he's hilarious. And who I really love though was Gilgamesh. I forget the name of the actor who plays him, but I thought that he was very funny. I thought he and with Kingo were also very. They had a good rapport. Um, yeah, just that everybody brought something a little bit different to the table. They weren't all the same, which was nice.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, but yeah, what did you think? Well, we've talked a bit about things that didn't go well. Um, but was there anything else that stood out to you that you thought wasn't the could have they could have done better?
I mean, it all ties into time and how much time we spent with the characters.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'm going to assume at this point we're going to dive a little bit more into spoiler territory because that's where this will play into. Um, for example, and I just want to warn everybody, I'm going to start talking about the story.
Yeah,
So if you don't want to know, I guess now is a good time to kind of
yeah.
phase
I
out.
think yeah, I think at this point we're gonna go a little more deep into the story.
Yeah. So okay, I'm gonna start talking about spoilers. When Ajax, what? So when I think it was Cersei. So basically, the whole story of Icarus,
Mm-hmm.
and the whole thing where that Ajax loved, as the prime eternal, like loved them all, but loved Icarus.
Mm-hmm.
Like you kind of get it, but I don't think we spent enough time with them to actually get that just
Yeah.
from the interaction. And I think the line where she's like, Ajax loved you, like, and it's supposed to affect him. I don't think it played as powerful as it could have been if we had actually seen that in the characters themselves.
Mm-hmm.
But it's hard to do because you have 10 people. Ajax has 9 people that she's kind of looking after, and you get it that she's motherly and she's all that kind of stuff. But like for each character, especially for Icarus and his arc,
Yeah.
that argument that Cersei's trying to make to him that how could you, she loved you. And, you get it, but you don't get it because you don't see the impact it should have made on him.
Yeah, like I would have loved to have seen so in this just Icarus takes the side of the Celestials, Arisham, and the whole thing was for Susan doesn't care that if we spoil it, so I'll just say that there were kind of two sides to this. Uh, the Celestials basically seed the universe for locations to plant another celestial. And during the course of the life of that planet, which is kind of the energy, they take the energy of the people developing. So the Eternals go down there to protect humanity from what are called the deviants, who are eating the people who are supposed to fuel the rebirth of the Celestials. But the Eternals believe that they are there to protect humanity from the deviants. They don't realize that eventually the Celestials are going to destroy the planet in order to give birth to another Celestial. That Celestial will then seed life across the universe itself. So it's kind of like the Celestials are not evil. They just have this kind of cosmic um, thing that they do, that they believe that they are continuing the universe, and that without them they will die. The universe will die, and so anyway, the Eternals kind of fall into two different categories: one that believe in the Celestials, and the other ones that believe in humanity. And
Right. And it's also, I mean, like, and the reason for that is some of them don't know what their
yeah,
purpose is. Like, Ajax knew,
mm-hmm.
um, and, and it was, like, it's funny because, like, in the beginning, it tells you the story of the Eternals, and, like, they came from the planet Olympia, or whatever.
Yeah, Olympia.
But then you learn it's a lie. So it's like, Ajax knew, she told Icarus, but the others were just kind of like, they were the ones who were like, oh, we're here to pretty much save humanity. And the thing about, like, Ajax, she's done this. And the thing about all the Eternals, they've probably all done it hundreds, thousands of times already. Mm-hmm. They just get kind of mind wiped like a astromech droid from Star Wars. They're just like, once they're done, they get mind wiped and then they start over. But Ajax remembers or knows. So, like, again, she's not evil.
No.
But I guess, the turning point for her was she saw something in humanity. Mm-hmm. Right? Kind of like the conversation between Ultron and Vision.
Yes.
Right? Well, Vision's like, yes, they are terrible. I'm going to paraphrase horribly. But there's beauty in humanity, right? And Ultron's just like, get rid of them. That's the only way to get, peace in our time. Like, is that kind of that kind of two different philosophies. And Ajax is kind of taking Vision. Like, she sees the beauty in humanity and it's worth saving. Where Icarus, when he learns, is more like Ultron, whereas, like, the purpose is, this is what our purpose is. Ultron's purpose is to create peace in their time, and the only way to do that is to get rid of the thing that making it hard for peace to happen, is the humans.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that's where the Eternals kind of split, and the reason why they split.
Definitely.
In those two different categories.
I missed this, that Pete said that he agreed and loved it and the comedy was great. And Allie just said that she would watch Angelina Jolie on bag groceries. I actually loved Angelina Jolie and her. I felt, just based on my knowledge of the comics, she was very much like the character of the comics. She just had that statuesque, like, beauty that, she seemed like a goddess in the film. But I like the fact that she didn't play like Cersei or one of the bigger ones. Like, I think that she was kind of like she played just enough of a character where we got to enjoy her without her taking over the film.
Yeah. I would say, like, because her role, if you look at, just stories in general, especially if you're a D&D kind of person, she's the fighter. She's the one Like she's like almost Wonder Woman-esque, and it could have been easily just a copy of like a Wonder Woman, but her what you call it?
How?
No, her what's the word I'm looking for? She has a problem. Like she has a mental problem.
Yeah, yeah.
Her
She
malady.
kind of,
Like she makes her a different character than anything else. Like you see the, for lack of a better term, humanity in her. Like she's not just, oh, stick the fighter in here and that's what she is.
right.
I mean, she is, but she's not at the same time. Like that arc of hers, you know, you have a little bit more sympathy for her, and then especially once you learn, as you go through the movie, and you learn what their purpose is and how she's fractured. Her memory is fractured, but she's remembering all the different times. Like if everyone else had their mind wiped, hers was, but something went wrong where she keeps remembering. And like I said, they've done it thousands of times, so she's remembering all of that kind of stuff, and how it affects her. And I think, like I said, it humanized her, and I think that's what I loved about all the characters. All of them had a very human, like, trait. I don't want to say trait, but like there's like a lot of humanity in them, like, and all for different reasons.
Yeah. Like even in the comics, Druid is like a little more mustachy, twirly,
Yeah,
villainous, and I like the fact that he was not
yeah,
in this film. He had the potential to be that, but he was more like almost like why are we here if we're not, going to save humanity from itself,
yeah. He was a catalyst for the present day version of the Eternals. And like it's funny because like in the trailers, it made it kind of look like he might be like the kind of like, like you said, mustachy twirly. Like he's like, okay, there's a problem there. It looked like he was a little bit standoffish, which he kind of was at points. But it's funny because like going into it, I was already kind of set to be like, okay, I think I can't trust him, right? By the end of the movie, he became one of my favorite characters in there.
Yeah.
Right? I liked his way of looking at things. He's not evil. Like he does have, and he has a heart. But
Yes.
He's the one who's like, why? Like he's the one who first questioned everything. Right?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
He now says she's flawed, and how she has to overcome that flaw was gave her character depth.
Yes.
Yeah. So I want to talk a little bit about, and I want to see if you saw the same thing that I did. But did we see Superman fighting Flash, Green Lantern, and Wonder Woman?
Yes, we did.
in the film?
Yes, we did.
I was sitting there going, "Oh my god, this is like the Justice League, but
Better.
better, better than and their fight made more sense than the Justice League." So
Yes, it did.
I thought that was really, I thought it was really cool. Like the Flash, Makari, who is the Flash, is for all intents and purpose, held her own against Icarus, and God, it was just like so exciting to see these people, like when Thena is like just charging in, and I don't know, like I was like so excited, and I thought about you during that sequence because I'm like, oh my god, I wonder if Rich is noticing the same thing.
Oh yeah, I'm sort of going like, one. Let's talk about Makari as a speedster. There was absolutely no slow motion in this movie.
No.
You got to see her as a speedster. without having to do like I swear every time we see Barry, he's the fastest person in the room, but he's also the slowest person on camera. Like it's always in slow mo and whatever. But you got to see a speedster use her power against someone who is more powerful, right? And you get again like a Green Lantern with Fastos. Not quite, but it serves the same kind of. It's like almost a cross between Green Lantern and Batman. Like he's inventive and smart, but like these things come out of nowhere almost.
Yeah.
And it's for all of them. It's what was missing from the Justice League is that the Justice League has always been more of a family superhero group than the Avengers. The Avengers seem like in the comics is more like a job.
Yeah.
But like in the movie universe, it's almost switched.
Yes.
Right. So we got to see a Justice League with members having to put down the most powerful one of them, but in their but they still love this person. Like they can't bring themselves to kill him, even though he might be on that path.
Right.
Right.
Right. And he even still, like, even when he killed Ajax, he still loved her.
Yeah.
And it was just like, that's what I liked the fact that he didn't just, he wasn't taking the viewpoint of an evil place. He just believed in a certain thing. And I thought that was really kind of a cool thing. And they all, I think, understood each other in a way that, most people wouldn't understand because they've existed with each other for eons, And, I just thought that was really kind of I thought it was a cool scene, both action-wise and also storytelling-wise.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like it was the best superhero against superhero fight that we've seen. And I'm even talking about like in the first Avengers when it's Captain America, Thor, and Iron Man fighting each other.
Yeah.
And definitely the Justice League movie.
Yeah.
Because you felt the weight of what they were doing, right? And the emotion they had. So, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's talk about some of the mid-credit and the post-credit scenes. So,
which one was first? I get them.
The first one was Arrows, Starbucks. So, basically, a few of them are. So, at the end of the film, a few of the Eternals are being collected for Arishem to view their memories, to judge humanity.
The ones, to go back a little bit, half of them stayed on Earth, half of them went back to space.
Yes.
The ones who went to space were in search of the other Eternals to try to open them their perspectives to what the Celestials are doing. And then and that was, I'm gonna forget who's on that ship.
It was, I know, Thena,
Druig, and Makari.
Yeah, I think those were the three that were on the ship.
Right, and then so Kingo, Circe, Sprite,
and Phastos.
Yeah, are on Earth.
Yeah, and so the ones on Earth end up getting sent to or collected by Arishem,
which I thought was a cool visual.
The what?
It was a cool visual to see.
Yeah,
Arishem this huge and not a cloud.
Yeah, I know exactly.
You know what I'm getting at.
The fact that these giant space aliens, that it just gives me hope that we're going to see Galactus.
Yeah. Also,
Yeah.
like, I was gonna say that too when we start talking about that stuff. But like, just that visual, I'm just like, they've got to be, they've got to be
Hmm.
going towards a Galactus. Come on, like,
Oh yeah. And I bet you that they're going to make Galactus a Celestial.
or
I bet you
something.
that he's going to be.
Like,
I
isn't
bet.
it? I don't know which version of Galactus this is, but like he specifically, like he's a planet eater,
Yeah.
but he specifically goes after celestial egg planets
True, because if you wanted to eat Earth,
because he's supposed to be
and
like
it's
the
Celestial.
if it's almost like nature in a way, right? There's some needs to be a population control. If the celestials go all crazy and just
Hmm.
plant seeds everywhere, then they become overpopulated, and then the cosmic universe is off balance. So he's the balance, right, or something
Yeah.
like that. So yeah, I don't know. I feel like, I mean, they've changed enough where I think it's possible he's a celestial, but like in the same way that Ego is a celestial, but he's
Right.
not like Erisham. Like he had his own thing going on where he
Hmm.
was trying to see, like he seeded Earth in his own way, which
Yeah.
I don't know if they're going to explain the difference between Ego and the other Celestials we've seen. But it could be also like the Celestials themselves have different versions.
Of what they look like.
Yeah, like the Celestials with the big armor looking dudes, and then you have Ego's a big planet looking guy,
Right.
or Kurt Russell. Uh, and then you have a Galactus, which, I mean, it can't be coincidence that we see an image in this movie of a big head,
Hmm.
right? And then on What If, you see a version of Vision Ultron, almost like, I swear, almost looked like Galactus for a second, but it was Vision Ultron eating a planet. And the fact that I spent $400 on a huge Galactus figure from Hasbro, like it's all gotta mean something. And it's
It's
like,
gotta
who
be
do you
something.
who do you go to when you're done with Thanos,
Right.
right? You go cosmic.
Yeah. Yep. There's so many different things out there that could
Yeah. But
could be out there, but definitely Galactus. I mean, we're all expecting Galactus. For those of you
more
who don't
more
know what
so
we're
than
talking about,
Mephisto. More so than
yeah, more
Mephisto.
so than for Mephisto. Galactus is a big villainous character in the Marvel universe, but he's kind of like Thanos, where he's not like Thanos feels that he's saving the universe from a certain thing. Galactus is he is like a tiger where he has to consume planets to survive. And so is he that does that make him evil per se? No. I
No.
mean, of course you don't want to be eaten by him,
Yeah.
but it's more like a tiger or a shark or something that needs to consume to survive.
Yeah.
And so anyway, Galactus is one of these kind of kooky villains. He's a giant space alien, just like the Celestials. And I just feel like they're going to make him a Celestial in his own right. So I'm just waiting for it. It's going to happen. It's going to
I
happen
mean,
when Fantastic
he's
Four.
gonna show up. Like
Yeah.
I feel like he's also too much of a Marvel icon villain that at
Yes.
some point he's gonna show up. And I think, I mean, I guess you can say technically we've already seen him in a movie,
Mm-hmm.
but we'll just forget that happened.
Right. I know exactly.
Every time I talk about a cloud, that's what that's what I'm referring to. That was what they turned Galactus into in the
Right.
Fantastic Four movie.
Yes.
But we know Fantastic Four is coming, and Galactus is kind of tied to them a lot.
Oh, no, they're totally tied to
right?
him.
So maybe
Yeah, can happen.
that's where we get him, and we'll get the Fantastic Four at some point. Like, I'm really curious how they bring the Fantastic Four into the Marvel universe.
I know. It's hard. It's hard because like with this, I think they did a good job in trying to tell us, okay, where were these people while the Avengers were defending, Earth against Thanos? But what do they do with somebody like the Fantastic Four, who are supposed to be established, scientists and big characters in the Marvel universe, but they have not existed so far. It'll be really interesting to see how they introduce these characters. It's just always I always like to see how they introduce new characters into the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Yeah, I mean that's those are the big ones right now, right? So it's the Fantastic Four and the mutants. How are
Right.
they going to get that into? And then that's a lot of it might tie into this whole multiverse
Hmm.
thing. So who knows?
Yeah.
But to get back on the
So
mid-credit scene,
yeah. So anyway,
the tangent we went off.
the ones that are in space uh, s- see that somebody's trying to board their ship, and all of a sudden in comes this troll, Pip the Troll, who is a cuckoo character created by Jim Starlin, who was also created Thanos, and Jim Starlin created a lot of the cosmic heroes of the 70s and 80s and 90s. And Pip the Troll is usually connected to Adam Warlock, who at the end of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, with I forget the name of the golden lady.
I forget. Yeah, what's the name of that planet or race?
Yeah, whatever that planet
Yeah,
was, they she was basically creating Adam Warlock.
and I shall call him Adam.
I will call him Adam.
Yeah,
That's what she says.
yeah. And we
And
know.
they have. Well, go ahead.
I was saying, and we know Adam Warlock's going to be in
3.
Guardians 3, played by
Will Poulter.
yeah, something like that. Yeah,
Yeah, Will Poulter. And anyway, so I think a lot of people were expecting. At least that's what I thought when I saw Pip the Troll. I was like,
Adam Warlock,
who was played by Patton Oswalt in this.
who's who's also no stranger to
Yeah,
Marvel.
to Marvel.
He's been in
And
Shield. He's MODOK in the
yes,
animated
in
series.
the animated series, which was hilarious, by the way. If you ever have Hulu, you should check it out.
I feel like he's other. I feel like he's something else.
Yeah, there was something else he was in, and I can't remember.
Yeah, but he's
But anyway, so Pip the Troll thought it was going to be Adam Warlock, but he starts describing the guy, and as soon as he said the brother of Thanos, I knew exactly who they were going to be talking about because I know the brother of Thanos to be Star Fox, aka Arrows, and I did not realize that was Harry Styles.
pop
I said,
pop
I
sensation
know,
Harry
I know.
Styles.
I was like, I know this guy from somewhere, but I cannot remember. I couldn't remember who it is. I had to look it up afterward, and I'm like, oh my god, that's Harry Styles.
There were a lot of people, mostly female, in my showing that
Yeah.
reacted very strongly to the appearance of Harry Styles.
That's hilarious.
Even I was like, I mean, like, I'm not big in the pop world, so like, but I know who he is. I was looking at him and
Mhm.
going like, why is everyone going crazy about? Like, he looks familiar.
Yeah.
Then I'm like, oh, I heard a rumor that he was going to be something,
Yeah.
but same. I was like, because I was actually thinking it was going to be Adam Warlock because they just kind of announced that he was being played by William Poulter or whatever, right? So I'm like,
Yeah.
all right, so we know he's cast, right? But yeah, I did, and that I didn't know that Thanos had a brother. So
Yeah, he was a character created in the 70s, and he's kind of a little bit of a douchebag. And, he's got like the power. His name is Eros, which is the god of love in Greek mythology. So you
right,
can imagine that he's got these pheromones that can create love triangles and things like that. So,
interesting.
yes. So Pete and Allie didn't know that it was Harry Styles either. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I was like, why do they they're bringing in Star Fox? Star Fox is like just such a
Out
again another
there,
cuckoo character from the 70s that who knew that they were going to bring him in. But yeah, he was a member of the Avengers and all of this stuff, so he's been around. And but it was good that they introduced him uh as an Eternal, because that's what they are. um the Eros and Thanos are the children of Alars and Suisan. Alars is the in the comics is the brother of Zurus, who is the leader of the Eternals in the comics. They didn't. I don't know why they didn't include Zurus in the movie. But
I mean,
Zurus is
they don't do
basically Zeus.
one-to-one translations or anything anyway. So
Yeah, because Zurus is Zeus in the that's who he's supposed to be, and he's supposed to be Thena's father. So anyway, the it was very interesting. I thought that that was a kind of a cool thing, and to see Star Fox as part of this, it just only goes to show that the Marvel Cinematic Universe is still in its infancy.
I feel
It
like
really is.
I feel like almost like the Marvel Cinematic Universe is trolling the DC Extended Universe.
Yeah,
One, they keep introducing characters where you're just like, that's the most silliest thing I've ever heard, and here we have him, and we're
yeah,
like, this is awesome. Whereas
yeah,
DC keeps fighting with itself about like having more than just Superman and Batman on screen
right.
and not trusting anything. But also, I'm like, this is very like speaking about Jack Kirby and whatever, but like this is very almost like New Godsy
Yeah.
territory we're going into, which was
Well, that was the.
canceled over at DC.
I think that was. I think from what I remember, Jack Kirby created the Eternals, but he had always been having this kind of issue with Marvel not being able to, you know, retain the rights to his own characters and things like that.
Right.
So he went to work for DC, and at DC, I guess he struck up some deal where he could own, I guess, part or whatever
Something.
of the New Gods. So that's why.
That's why it all gets kind of silly, almost. Like even the New
Yeah.
Gods, like if you look at their whole history and the family and whatever. I mean, you know, you have Darkseid,
Hmm.
and but you have Granny Goodness, which is weird, voiced by Ed Asner in the animated show, which is awesome.
Brilliant casting.
And then you have like Big Barda, and you have like but you have like Mr. Miracle in the middle of there, like
Yeah.
this escape artist superhero. It's
Yeah.
just like the notions around it feel like and that's I'm assuming that's probably why it feels very similar, and like the Eternals and this whole thing, like there's some silliness in there, even though it's dealing with like this kind of darker kind of thing.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? You know what I mean? So
Totally.
and it's like Marvel's just like, yep, let's do this. And DC is just like,
Yeah.
can we put Batman in there somewhere? Like, all the time.
Yeah.
Can we make them a little bit more Batman though? And then these or Marvel's just like, no, 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 no. Give Mysterio the big fishbowl. We want the fishbowl.
I know. It's very funny. I mean, that's why I like the Suicide Squad, the second movie,
Yes,
because that one they embraced
yes,
the
I want
insanity
DC
of the
to
comic.
continue embracing itself. Like,
Hmm.
it's still like at the end of the day, these are based off comic books. Like,
Yeah.
these are kid stories. You
Hmm.
know, that's why we all kind of love it because it's kid stories. Like that's why we love
Hmm.
Star Wars. It's kid story. You know,
Definitely.
DC keeps wanting to do like rated R versions of kid stories, and it's weird to me.
Hmm.
You know,
For sure. All right. So that was that one. They basically um Star Fox says that they know um that the others are in trouble and where to find them, and that kind of ends the mid-credit scene.
right?
Then we go to the final scene. So Dane Whitman, played by Kit Harington, aka Jon Snow, in the from Game of Thrones.
Brother of Kit Harington, or brother of Richard Madden's character on Game of Thrones,
Yeah, I know.
who is also Icarus in the
Yes.
Eternals.
So he was telling Cersei, he was a love interest to Cersei in the movie. And before she gets scooped up by Erisham, he says, I want to tell you the truth. There's something strange that's happening in my family. And then they, she gets taken away before he's able to tell her what this is all about. Well, at the end, you see him with this box that holds a sword, because he comes from a long line of heroes cursed with the ebony blade, and that give them different kinds of powers. So he is the Black Knight, and he's like uh, about to touch um,
The Blade.
the blade, and the blade looks like it's living. And then all of a sudden, from off screen, you hear, "Are you sure you're ready for this, Mr. Whitman?" Now, there were all kinds of speculation as to who this could be. Some people thought it was uh, Jeffrey Wright as the Watcher. Some people thought it was Samuel L. Jackson as Nick Fury. But what we have come to learn is that it is actually Mahershala Ali, who is going to be playing Blade in an upcoming film, and who had been in the comics together with the Black Knight. So, how exciting is that?
Yeah, it was funny because I knew who he was playing, Kit Harington,
Mm-hmm.
and I was waiting to see where that would play into the movie.
Yeah.
There's like hints here and there. Like in the beginning, Cersei gives him family crest. He's like, "Oh, it's back from medieval times" and stuff like that. And there is like this little like scene between, I think, Makari and Athena, and I think maybe Sprite or something. And I
Mm-hmm.
think like Makari stole like Excalibur at some point,
Yeah.
right? And the Ebony Blade is kind of like the anti Excalibur.
Mm-hmm.
But I was in my head going like, I wonder if they're going to change that and make it that's Excalibur, because
Yeah.
it goes back to like, if Excalibur was a real thing and she
Mm-hmm.
stole it. And when I saw the scene where he's opening the box, I thought at one point is to be the sword is gone because actually Makari took it
Yeah.
or something. but then it was there. But like, I was like, but yeah, I was one of those people like I didn't know who that voice was. I thought it was the Watcher. Um, I never thought it was Sam Jackson. I think that was like he's done that already. But I'm like, I wonder who that is, and I wonder where this is going. Because I'm like,
Right.
if if the one before that was leading to Eternals 2, what was this leading to? Because this seems like a different story altogether.
Yeah.
Or it could be the same story because obviously there's still a connection between him and Cersei. So
Yeah. Yeah, because you know he's going to be looking for her. So
right,
we'll be seeing more of that. We'll be seeing more of who knows what Blade is up to. Um, but yeah, it's so
but
crazy.
we know vampires exist in this universe because Kingo was like, he thought it was
Yeah,
a vampire.
that was, I loved his valet. By the way, I thought that he was so funny.
Yes.
And yeah, Kingo was that was a really good one. I don't know if anybody's seen the footage of um, at California Adventure. You can now meet Kingo, Cersei, and Phasos, and they look incredible.
I hope they are around more when I'm there.
Yeah, I do too because they look incredible, and I'm just hoping that they're going to be out when I go at the end of November because
Yeah.
sometimes they just do things for a short period of
Like I
time.
haven't seen Shang-Chi
Yeah, Shang-Chi was only out for a
for a little
while,
bit, right?
and then I was lucky enough to see him, but I didn't get to see the show, and I was like, why don't they just continue to do that show? Um, it doesn't make any sense. So I don't know.
Yeah. And like I didn't know, and I don't know if this was something that happened back then, but like when I was walking through Avengers Campus this weekend, like I saw part of the Avengers show, right? And I've seen it multiple times. So I'm like, I'm just walking through trying to get past everybody. But then
Hmm.
I noticed that it wasn't Black Panther that showed up to help Black Widow. It was Captain America. I've never seen that version before, and it plays a
Yeah.
little bit differently when it's Captain America and not Black Panther.
Hmm.
And then like I've seen like three different versions of the Spider-Man show also.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
I don't know if they change things up all the time or what, but like I feel like if they're gonna push almost like this new era of superheroes for Marvel, they should really play up the new heroes of Marvel. Like
Yeah.
show them a little bit more. But I get it. Everyone knows Captain America and Black Widow. Loki's there every single time.
Right. Yeah.
Like,
Exactly.
I get it, Loki. And I've seen all like there are different versions of him there. Like I've seen him in like his um, TVA uniform. I've seen him in his non crown
Yeah.
version, and
Right.
also seen him with the crown. So
And the president one, and
yeah.
yeah,
So
it's crazy.
though I have not seen Sophie version of him.
Victoria Redondo says, "Hey, Castles, Capes, and Clothes, love your channel. Oh, thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. That's so nice of you." And Pete says, "So, oh, yes! I can't believe I was sitting here
Oh,
thinking to myself there was something I wanted to say, and now thank you for reminding me. So, are the 10 rings from the Eternals? I was wondering the same thing.
that didn't even cross my mind. But now that you say it, it makes a little bit of sense
Yes,
considering the end credit scenes from Shang-Chi and how it's like they're looking at it going like we don't know what this is,
right, exactly,
but it's from
and
somewhere in the cosmic universe.
yeah, and it's a beacon. But yeah, because you would see them, they would have the rings, and then when what's his name, Phasos was holding down Icarus, they were a bunch of rings that were holding him down. And
Right.
I thought, that's interesting. Um, I don't know. But I would not be surprised if they reveal that the Ten Rings come from the Eternals, because at the beginning of the movie of Shang-Chi, they say that it was either stolen from a tomb or from a ship of aliens, an alien ship, and so I bet you that's what they're from, because we know now that there are more Eternals out there.
Yep.
So who knows? Somebody might have lost the rings or something. And thank you so much for reminding me about this, because I remember I was going to bring this up and I totally forgot about it.
Yeah, that didn't even
Um,
dawn on me. But now that kind of makes sense. There could be a connection there,
right?
right?
I
I don't know.
definitely. I mean, I would be very surprised if they didn't take this opportunity to connect them.
But well, then if that's true, then what's the beacon calling the owner of those rings,
That's a that's a good question.
or is
Are
it
they?
alerting Galactus or one
Mm-hmm.
of his heralds, or is it
Yeah.
Mephisto?
Oh, that. Yeah, that's another. That's actually what I wondered at first. Are these are these calling Galactus? Like who in space could this be reaching out to? So who knows?
I don't know.
Yeah. All right. Well, do you have anything else you want to say about the Eternals?
Um, Something I want like as an observation is like I love the fact that the world, like the Earth on Earth, like you know, with everything that's gone on, it almost seems very normalized that there are wizards and
Hmm.
aliens and whatever. Um, the conversation that Dane has with Cersei, like, "Are you a wizard?" And she's like, "What?"
Yeah.
And it's like it makes sense in that world that he would ask because it's a world full of heroes and magic and aliens,
Yes.
just like Falcon said. It's either wizards, aliens, or androids, or something like
And he
that.
probably knows a little bit about magic because of his background.
Right,
So,
right, right,
you
right.
know,
Um,
and
and it's like,
I've heard that they're going to be bringing in some more British characters like Captain Britain, and
Psylocke.
so who knows?
Um, and then bring in Excalibur.
Yeah, Excalibur. I bet you that they're gonna do something like that.
I also think it's funny that we know that Superman exists. The comic Superman exists in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
He exists in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Yeah, because when that kid was talking to Icarus, he's like, "Yeah, I saw you. You were the guy with the laser beams and the
Oh,
cape and the."
yeah, that's true. I didn't think about that. That's funny. Yeah, I know that they do have a team called the Squadron Supreme
Yeah,
that is based on the Justice League.
right.
So Hyperion, Power Princess, Nighthawk.
Is it
Um,
Owl Man or something like that?
no, it's
Or is it
Nighthawk,
Nighthawk? All right. Yeah.
Doctor Spectrum, the Blur. So I hope that they do those characters someday too. Um, oh, before we leave off though, just in the Marvel realm, did you see the new poster for Spider-Man?
Spider-Man with a little
With a
guy
very,
in
yeah,
in the thing.
zoom in and you see Green
Green
Goblin
Goblin.
in the
Yeah.
background.
You see, so it shows lightning. It shows kind of like sand.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, Doc Ock and Green Goblin. So there's four
Yes.
that are definite.
I just It's just so like crazy. This is we're, I feel like we've gotten into our craziest phase yet
Yeah, and I
because
feel like I that's why I'm looking forward to Friday, knowing that
mhm,
what I know that they're probably going to announce for Star Wars. I haven't heard anything about what they're going to announce for Marvel. I mean, like even today they announced that they're going like Disney Plus is going to release some of the Marvel films in IMAX format
mhm.
for your screen. So I'm guessing it's going to look kind of like the Snyder cut, which was presented in the IMAX dimensions. So it looked very weird on your screen. But I'm curious
Yeah,
to see what that looks like for
on the television.
yeah. Well, I
Yeah,
mean, it's going
I'm
to look like Zack
sure.
Snyder, but I'm curious now what that means for the film itself, because that does open up a different aspect ratio, and you'll see
Hmm.
things you haven't seen before.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Yeah.
curious to see what it will look
I
like.
know it's going to be all the Russo films are going to have it, and then some other ones. So
Hmm.
anything that was filmed for IMAX, I think they said, and I wonder if the other franchises and stuff are going to also follow suit. You know,
Yeah, I bet you that eventually they'll all go to that ratio.
yeah,
But they're starting off with a few of them. I think Shang-Chi is one of them, I
probably.
want to say. Or at least I saw at least one story was illustrated with a picture of Shang-Chi. So yeah, I can't wait to see Shang-Chi next Friday on Disney
Yeah, yeah.
Plus. And you got just so much goodness coming. Were there any good movie previews? I didn't get the full breadth of the new previews because I went opening night and they never show like the
Really?
yeah, they for some reason our theater like you have to wait until the day of the actual opening to see the new trailers.
Oh, what did I see? I think we saw the Ghostbusters one.
I heard that they played a Morbius one.
Oh, Morbius, yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
Morbius.
and Clifford, the big red dog.
And what?
Clifford, the big red dog.
Yeah.
Uh,
Um,
what else? I don't know what other ones came going to come out.
Matrix. Did they do Matrix?
No, I didn't see the Matrix.
Hmm. I saw West Side Story.
Oh yeah, I saw West Side Story. Yeah.
Uh, yeah, I'm excited about that one as well.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I'm sure. I'm surprised that they didn't have a Spider-Man one, a new Spider-Man.
Well,
But that's coming out next month, so
yeah, very very soon. So
yeah.
awesome.
All right.
And also Hawkeye's later this
Yeah,
month.
yeah. Hawkeye later this month. Spider-Man,
Mhm.
uh, and then next month. I mean, next month, next year. The first one will be. Well, I wonder if Ms.
The
Marvel will
Marvel's
be
coming out,
out.
right? I
Yeah,
think they said beginning of the year ish.
yeah. I think Ms. Marvel, and then Doctor Strange,
Yeah,
Thor, Black Panther.
the Marvels.
Yeah, She-Hulk is Moon Knight are in there somewhere.
And whatever else we're going to announce on
Yeah,
Friday.
we'll find out. We'll find out. I'm sure on Friday they're going to tell us a whole bunch of stuff. So, for those of you who are wondering why we keep mentioning next Friday is Disney Plus Day. Just so that you know, it's the second anniversary of Disney Plus, and they're doing all kinds of cool things. Um, oh, how are you, ID Hung W? Yes,
Hello.
you can't wait to see the Eternals. I know.
If you just joined us,
We're
we just spoiled all of it.
yeah,
But
yeah,
we're kind of wrapping up.
yeah. We're kind of wrapping up now. We did spoil quite a bit, but we told everybody in advance that we were what we were going to do. And anyway, I hope if anybody has any last minute questions, let us know. Otherwise, we're going to go ahead and say goodbye for this one. If you haven't already, we'd love it if you would subscribe to our channel, hit the bell for notifications, and do like this post, as it really does help us out. And it helps your favorite content creators know that you appreciate them, and we in turn appreciate that. With that, hold on. Doing good, just came home from work. Yay, and not spoiled. Susan said she's not spoiled. It will understand it better.
There you go.
She'll understand it better. Yay. Okay, good. All right. Well, thank you everybody for joining us.
Oh,
and
I did want to say, if you're subscribed to the channel, that I will be. I forget when I have these scheduled, but like I have all the Eternal figures, so I will be doing an unboxing of all 11 of the Eternals figures, which you might see a little bit, some of them behind me. So I think that's coming out Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. I split them up into 3.
Okay.
So that's coming soon.
Sounds good.
Yep.
All right. Well, thanks everybody for joining us, and we will see you later. Yep. Bye.
Catch you on the flip side.